a down-to-earth podcast presented by Bricks and Blocks Coaching. Tune in as we dive into the real-life experiences of parents. In this season, we are exploring a common emotion that most parents face: guilt. If you like our stories and connect with them, please like and subscribe to our show. Today, we have in our studio Renee, an educator for about 14 years in Singapore, and now she's turned into an entrepreneur. She is the co-founder of MangaChat, a mental wellness app for children and young adults. A very, very important area, important for parents as well as young kids who we are bringing up into this world today. Hi, Renee.
Hi, Swetha. Thank you for having me here.
It's actually our delight to have you here because I've heard so many stories that you've shared about your experiences as a parent and the mistakes you've made, right? Before we start, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, everyone. I'm Renee. As what Swetha mentioned, I used to be a physics teacher in a junior college in Singapore, and then I become an entrepreneur. But that was my, so-called public life, right? Privately, I'm a parent, right? I'm actually a single mom since the year of 2008, 2009. And then my daughters were 1 and 3 years old, and now they are 20 and 18 years old. So I married to Singapore. I was born in Hong Kong. My family was still in Hong Kong. So the time when I left my family, I was only with my helper with a household income of 2005. So supporting a helper and 2 girls all by myself since 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay. You did share quite a few stories about being a single parent. It's not easy being a single mother, raising 2 young daughters. What is one story of guilt that you would like to share today?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and not to say that, my family, my whole family was actually in Hong Kong. So when I left the family, I was all alone with my helper only. So in my 20 years of my parenting life, I think I made so many mistakes. But there was one thing that really stick to me, and I only realized it at very, very late stage. They say that, when your first one was born, or when the second one was born, you tend to pay a lot more attention to the second one and neglected the first one. So I was very particular and very cautious about not wanting to do that. I don't want my first one to feel neglected. So during her growing up stage, from 0 to 3 years old, of course, I've been spending a lot of time building her cognitive ability, playing flashcard with her, a lot logic game, talking to her and all. But when my second one was born, it was because, that was a period when my marriage was very rocky. I was even having a little bit of a depression. So I wasn't really spending a lot of time to grow up with her. And then we left the family and on my own with my helper. So my helper was then the one that teaching my younger one, ABC, talking to her, teaching her, discipline, helping her with her homework. And I was not even there to guide her through her primary school, even though we stay in the same household. But I was not really paying attention to her growing up stage. So what happened was that my younger daughter, as she can start to speak, I realized that she was talking something that's not logical. I couldn't understand what she's talking about. So I very often brush her off because I was so busy as a single mom and so many things to attend to. I would just ask my elder one, what is your baby talking about? Can you just explain to me, or can you just entertain your May? I have no time and no energy to do that. And when my younger one grew up older, she tried to express herself more. And then I realized that she started telling me lies because she wants to get onto my good book, try to portray herself being a good girl, right? And she was trying to put the spotlight on her when she is a little bit better than someone else. So she was trying to, talk about her good things and how the other person is not doing as good. She was trying to get my attentions and recognitions. And I felt even more angry about it because being an educator, I felt that the values of trust, cannot tell lies was very, very important to me. So I would brush her off even more. I would say to her, what about those people that who are better than you? You know, how does it look like? You know, where do you really stand, you know, in these exams? And then she'll just keep quiet. And then she'll sometimes even tell me lies, you know, just to make herself look better. And I will feel so angry about it. So I brush her off even more. So I didn't really spend time to her, talk to her. And, you know, when they grow up even more, you know, they both have their own room. And I realized that after I came back from work, I will always go to my girl's room, play with her, disturb her. I seldom go to my younger one. Until when my younger one is 17 years old, my elder one is 19 years old, and my elder one have to stay in the hall because it's a little bit far from the house. And I realized that I had not really gone into my younger girl room and to play with her and talk to her. I don't really know what was really going on in her life, right? And I started to think that I should actually do that too. So I went to her room and played with her, and then we happened to be moving to a new house, and I asked my younger girl to help to organize or design the house, how the house should look like, how we should place the furniture, and that was where we started talking a lot more. You know, I get her involved also in my business. I bring her along to the roadshow. I explain to her what my business is doing, and I have her to help me draw something, do something, and I can really see the sparks in her eyes that was the moment finally that we are connected, that finally I am bringing her to my life, that finally I'm recognizing her strength, and finally I am appreciating her in my life.
Wow. That was a really, really tough journey, Renee. If you could go back in time and change something, what is it that you could have done differently?
I would definitely not letting my helper to tuck them to bed or sleep with them. I think when I came out from the family, you know, when they were like 3 and 1 years old, I should actually, no matter how tired and busy I am, if I can just have this 15 minutes, 30 minutes time, I would just go to their room, hug them to sleep, you know, and don't talk anything, don't say anything, just hug them, because they're at the age they perhaps cannot really express the inwards, but the other senses, you know, the physical touch is the form for me to express to them that they are protected, they are well loved by me. And if I could turn my clock, you know, rewind it back, I would definitely try to hug them a lot more.
I connect with that. So, you know, one principle that I have when I'm going to work is I have to come home for bedtime. Whatever happens during the day, I am there to tuck my children to bed. And I can see that that's my piece of building the relationship with the children. So I really like the learning that you've given, Renee. As you were going through this journey and, you know, handling the children, maybe the thing you can do with your children is important. How did you handle your own guilt?
I would say that, you know, we really cannot turn back the clock, right? Whatever has happened had happened. More importantly is how do we move forward? And now that I actually know about the mistake I have made, I went to my younger daughter, and I apologized to her. That I told her I was very sorry for the lost time that I have, or maybe the hurt that I have created in her growing up stage. I explained to her my situations at time. You know, it was tough as a single mom, came out from the broken marriage that was from, you know, well, abuse and all. And I had no choice, but I had to leave my ex and bring the two out. The journey that I was going through, and now I realize my mistake and I seek her understanding and forgiveness. So that was how we reconcile, and now I'm really pay attention. When she speaks to me, I will have to drop all the things. Even I'm not looking at my phone, I'm dropping all my things. I will just sit down there and listen to her.
Children are such beautiful beings, right? So if we open our heart, they are more than willing to accept us and accept our mistakes and forgive us. That's so beautiful, your second daughter to do that, Renee.
Yeah, she's so lovely, and it was just me being a very lousy mom that time, and now I'm glad that I have learned my mistake.
You've also been a bigger person by understanding what you had done and gone ahead and spoken to your daughter as well. That takes a lot of courage. So, what is one advice you would give to our parents who are going through their parenting journey and we ideally do not want to end up in this situation, right? What is one advice that you would give?
Yeah, I think that I have ever heard from one of the professors who is into the, parent-child bonding relationship connections. And she was telling me that based on attachment theory, scientifically based, there is no such thing as the more that you hug your kids, the more that, they cannot detach from you. In fact, you should try to hold them more. You should touch them, physical touch, just to hold them with you. Because that will give them the sense of protections and safety that they needed it to grow up healthily in the early developmental stage. So do not listen to all those theory about putting your kids in a separate room and not sleeping with them so that they can grow up independently. I think don't listen to that. In fact, put them to bed, just spend that last moment before they fall asleep with them, holding them, hugging them, telling them how much you love them. That will mean so much to them.
Absolutely. There are different theories, and the parenting theories keep evolving over time, right? But what I believe in, and that's also the philosophy of this podcast, bring out experiences of parents. Every parenting journey is different, and we need to figure out what works for our family the best. So I really thank you for joining our show and sharing your experience. It's a very important learning for us as well to understand that each child is different and the dynamics between the two children. How do you go back and correct your mistakes? I think that was the best part. Thank you so much, Renee, for joining our show.
Thank you, Swetha, for the time.
Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe and share our content with other parents. We'd love to hear your stories, so reach out to us at bricksandblockscoaching.com. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Swetha, a parent coach, and this is Everyday Parenting. See you next time.